Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm Elrinth, the first boss, and today we're gonna talk about Metroid Dread. But before we do that, I wanna open this little package I received here from Japan by Magnus. Thank you so much, Magnus. So he showed me this cup here, and I said I'd like to have one of those. So he went and bought it in Japan for me. So I think these are being sold in Amazon Japan, but so they can be a little bit tricky to get here in Europe, but you can probably order it somehow as well. He fixed it for me at least, so we're gonna check it out here. So there we have the actual cup. Let's see if I can show it a little bit better for you guys. It's pretty cool. And then we open up the straw here. Oh, there's like a little manual here how to install it. So I'm gonna try that. And like so. So we're gonna open this little flag here. Attach it. We're actually supposed to unscrew this, and it's supposed to sit like this, or this, like this. Ta-da. And this just goes on like so. Now let's fill it with some Trocadero, because I really like Trocadero. And there we go. Really nice, I love it. So thank you so much, Magnus. I am really happy with this. So it shows kind of black here, but that's only if you put like coffee or Coca-Cola in there. So let's have a sip. Very nice. Okay, so let's get back on the topic. So yeah, I purchased Metroid Dread and finished it recently, and I thought it was really good. It's not my absolute favorite. I have to give a little bit background. I'm a big Metroid fan. I actually own pretty much every single game except Metroid Pinball, still looking for that. And I think I sold my Wii copy of Metroid Prime 3, but I still have the trilogy. So you see I own Super Metroid, the Japanese copy. This is actually the favorite game in the franchise. Then we have the Metroid Fusion game. I really love that one. And the Metroid Zero Mission. This is the game after Super Metroid, in my opinion, which I like. It's Super Metroid goes first, then we have Zero Mission, and then we have of course the original Metroid Prime. I love that one. And then you have the successor, Metroid Prime Echoes, really good. And since I somehow sold the third game in the Metroid Prime trilogy, I at least have the trilogy for Wii, so I can play the third game here. Then we have a still in plastics Metroid Other M. I actually finished this with a different copy and sold that one. So I still have this one in plastic, and I have no intention of opening it. I think Other M was actually pretty fun gameplay wise, but the story is probably the worst story I've encountered in a Metroid game, with being locked in with all your gear is being locked rather than you actually find it in the game. So as you progress in the game, Adam unlocks the gear, and I think that was really bad design choice. And of course I have the the original Metroid for the Famicom Disk System. I have 2 copies, one not even opened, and another one which is opened and missing the manual. So, pretty happy with that. And I think the original Metroid is a nice game, but it's much more refined in Zero Mission, so play Zero Mission instead of the original, is my opinion. And then we have Metroid Prime Federation Force. So this is actually a game I haven't even played, but I hope to play it someday, and I probably won't be playing it with other players, only myself. And then we have Metroid Prime Hunters, which I think was really good. And inside here I actually got the original cartridge, First Hunt, which came with the DS when it was sold here. The first fat DS one. So I kept that. The original cartridge there. So, as I was saying, I'm still missing Metroid Pinball and Metroid Prime 3. So I'll be looking at buying those games at some point, but I mean, I have enough here, so it's okay. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about Metroid Dread. So it's the 5th game in the main story series, and I think the ending of it was awesome, really good. So let's talk about the things I actually liked about this game. So first off, the game begins with like an introduction with some cutscenes. I would have preferred to keep it more like Super Metroid, where the cutscenes were, or maybe not the cutscenes, but like the text was very short. And anyways, in this game it was a couple of cutscenes, and it explained something about the previous games, so newcomers would know the backstory. So that's good. And it was a bit long, in my opinion. It should have been much quicker. And maybe they could have put it in like a backstory section instead, rather than you have to watch it. So that's something I think they should have included. Oh, one game I actually forgot about. Samus Returns. I actually bought the collector's edition, played through it, and then sold it. I thought that game was probably one of the more poor games. Oh yeah, and I actually lost the original Metroid 2, but I've got it somewhere here in my collection. I think the original Metroid 2 is really good, and AM2R, the fan remake, is really, really good. And then you have the Samus Returns one, which I think it was okay. There's 2 really cool bosses at the very end of the game. But other than that, I think the game is too repetitive and very slow paced, because you got that counter attack you do in the game. And it is much more refined in Metroid Dread, the counter attack. It feels really good, and you keep up the pace in Metroid Dread rather than in Samus Returns. You had to wait for like the perfect moment and keep your character still, or maybe not move as much. But in Metroid Dread, you never, you can always move in that game, so that's really good. And it's very fast paced, and just like a Metroid game should be. Anyways, so there's this backstory, and then there's a short tutorial showing you can actually shoot blocks to progress. So there's hidden blocks somewhere in the game, and you can use the new mechanic holding down the left trigger over here, which allows you to aim with the stick, so you can shoot in all 360 directions. That's really good. Really good improvement to the game. Well done, Mercury Steam. What else do I want to say? Yeah, the level design is so-so. I mean, it's got some brilliant small puzzles to get to certain power-ups in the game. But there's also, I mean, the design of the actual stages are somewhat lackluster in my opinion. But I mean, there's some moments I was like, wow, this is really gorgeous as well. So it's both sides there, being good looking and not so good looking. And there's actually a guy called Jaffe, or Jaffe, who's the used to be God of War director or designer, a God of War designer, and he worked on the Twisted Metal games as well. And he had a comment about this game, which is so dumb. I mean, I see where it's coming from. He wants the game to be more linear and not so much you had to think so much, I guess. But there's a really good video which I want to show you guys, which calls out his bullshit. And I'm going to show it for you guys over here. So this is by a guy called
I want to make something clear. Okay, let's
Marco
make something
Bild.
clear real quick. I'm not going to spend too much time in here. I just want to show you something though. Here's the infamous room. People telling me, Jaffe, it's a dead end. What else would you do? No, it's not. People saying, oh, there's only a few rooms. No. Look, I can go back here.
This is so good.
I have all of this place to play in here. Look at all the places I can go. Oh, the places you'll go. I can go up here.
He can't go in there.
And I have all of, well, yeah, you're stuck there.
Yeah, you can't go in there.
So you can basically go this way. Let me just fucking show you this bullshit. I mean, I can go in there. I can go down here.
That's a locked room. This is so hilarious.
I can go. I know you. I'm just going to show you this because I'm so tired of people acting like that. Yeah, you can. That you're stuck. You're not stuck.
And the final room. So you're locked in this really confined space. And the game already has shown him the tutorial earlier in the game that he can shoot blocks.
And I think there was actually more rooms you could go into because I want to say I have the lava flow. Before I had the lava flowing in the other direction. See this tube here?
So you actually see in the upper room that there's actually flying monsters up there. So you'll be like, oh wow, how can I get up there? So you should be using the L target or L aim attack. I think he forgot about the L attack, L aiming system. So yeah.
You have to shoot the enemy in the exact right spot. Think about that. Oh, Jaffe, you moron.
Well, we're not gonna look anymore at that. So yeah. Oh. Yeah, so that's David Jaffe, and he had some critics about the controls. He used the original Joy-Cons, and I used the Wii Pro controller, or Switch Pro controller, and the game feels so good with the Switch Pro controller. And I can understand that the Joy-Cons weren't so good. I mean, they work, they do the job done. There's no problem there. It's just that they're not the greatest, and you can use the Pro controller instead. But yeah, I think his opinions on the game is somewhat uncalled for, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, they're very subjective from his point of view. So objectively, I think the game plays fine, and this specific area, at least, shouldn't have been any problem for him to progress. I mean, he might have been tired or something like that. He shouldn't have been stuck there for too long, in my opinion, but he says it's like 30 minutes, and I'm like, how is that even possible? Yeah, so anyways, we're gonna continue talking about the game here a little bit more. So I played it on the OLED Switch on my big screen TV most of the time. I started the hard mode in handheld mode, and I hope to beat I think I finished it in 8 hours, my first run, and I had like, I think it was 70+%, or maybe around 80. So I know there's a couple of puzzles with the Shine Spark, this speed boost. There's a couple of those puzzles which I didn't figure out, but I've watched some YouTube, and now I've learned how to keep the Shine Spark while running or jumping and similar stuff. So now I can probably find those. So I have a little bit on the hard mode to finish, and I have to get below, I think it's 4 hours usually. I think the world record for the game is right now 1 hour and 30 minutes, which is insane. And there's a lot of like, they call it sequence breaking. So that's like, you can play the game in certain ways, and at some point of the game you can take a route which the game devs maybe weren't intending you to take, or maybe they like implemented it and thought that like, oh, if players find this, then we're really happy for them. So that's really cool. But yeah, we're gonna talk more about what I thought about the game. The music, I think the remixes of the old tracks are really good in this game, but the new tracks are super lackluster compared to Super Metroid and even Zero Mission. Then again, Zero Mission is just a remix of the original Metroid, so that doesn't count. But I mean, Metroid hasn't been staple great music since Super Metroid, in my opinion. I think Metroid Prime had 1 or 2 good tracks or so, and the Metroid Prime 2 and 3 I think didn't have too great music most of the time. It's I like the Space Pirate themes and battle music. I was super annoyed at it, and there's 1 or 2 of those tracks in this game as well. But it's okay to have like a little short period of that annoying battle music. But other than that, I think it sets the mood right, but it doesn't, like, I'm not gonna listen to the music on YouTube or buy the soundtrack, because I didn't like it as much as Super Metroid. And one other thing I didn't like was the boss designs. A few of the boss designs are just rehashes. You play them more than once. There's the Space Pirates you have to defeat a couple of times. Like, first you meet one Space Pirate with a lance, and you have to defeat him, and then he has a shield, and then he transforms into X-Parasite mode, etc. And then there's the... what do I want to call it? There's the like globe or core you destroy in order to defeat the Emmys to get the Omega Cannon, and you have to defeat those like 8 times in the game. I think that was cumbersome, and you defeat the Emmys the exact same way, but you have to like find the right spots to stay in while firing the Omega Cannon at them to overheat their faceplate so it falls off. So that was I thought that, I guess, figuring out where to be at one of the Emmy places was really good. I really liked that puzzle, but for most of the time I thought that was, I don't know, I didn't like the hide and seek thing. I thought the Samus X in Metroid Fusion was much better implemented, like being sort of a horror scene. They had like horror music and stuff like that. I thought that was really good back when I played it on GBA, back when it was released. But this, the Emmys, I mean, they were neat, but they became repetitive after like the first or second one. So once you get captured by the Emmy, there's like short cutscenes which you need to time when they like do certain moves. They do 2 or 3 moves, I think, 2 moves, and then you die, and you have to start over from a little bit back. But if you time it right, then you can actually stun lock the Emmy for a while, and you can escape it. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I succeeded very, very seldom. So I died a bunch of times to the Emmy, and there's a couple of bosses I died to really, really many times. For example, the last boss I died for like 30 minutes or so, and then finally I defeated him, but I got better and better, and finally I knew exactly what to do and time everything. So that was, I actually felt good about becoming better, so that was rewarding. And yeah, the final battle was really good. That's one of the best things implemented in the game, in my opinion. Except for the quick time events. I think all the quick time events, they shouldn't have had those. I mean, there's a couple of them where you like do a quick time event, and if you time it right, you get to shoot a couple of missiles or extra shots at the boss while in the quick time event. So that's, I guess it's good to get more hits on the boss, but I thought it was I don't like that kind of gameplay. It's like God of War quick time events. Other than that, I thought I guess the graphics could have been better, but I thought they were good enough, in my opinion. It looked good, and the power-ups in the game were pretty much the same as previous games. There were, I would say, a few of the... You have like a meter you can use, so you can become invisible at some point. And I barely used that. I used it like once in order to enter, or twice in order to enter a couple of areas where it had like a motion sensor, and if you were invisible you could get through. And there's like a dodge shine thing you can do, which moves your character really fast in horizontal. But you can't move through objects, you can just move much faster. So that was... I like that move, but I wish you could actually move through enemies. Would have made it overpowered maybe, but I thought it was cool. But I didn't use it too much. I mean, I guess the speedrunners use it all the time, but I had trouble actually remembering I had it, because there's a lot of controls to keep on your mind for the game. But yeah, all in all, I think it was really good, Metroid Dread, and I recommend people to play it if they like the Metroid formula. If you don't like the Metroid formula, stay away. So it's exploration with not too much hand-holding. I mean, there's more hand-holding in this than in Super Metroid, for example. Similar to Metroid Fusion in the hand-holding, where it shows on the map you should go here, but this game didn't show as much on the map, rather than saying this area has maybe in this area you should go, or something like that. So it wasn't too difficult to get around. There were a few points I didn't know where to go, but actually found myself after a couple of like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I found a couple of power-ups during that search, so it was all worth it. But yeah, Metroid Dread, really good game. After this, I'm gonna play Flynn, Son of Crimson, I think it's called. It seems to be another Metroidvania game. And I've also started Death's Gambit, which reminds me a little bit more of Dead Cells. I think it's got really good motion controls, or not motion controls, but motion with the character, and the controls feel stable, but a little bit much to me to remember with the controls. I've actually played through Aria of Sorrow and Harmony of Dissonance. I've come to the ending of at least, but Aria of Sorrow I played through on the Switch, and the Switch port of the game is amazing. Play the Switch port instead of playing it on your GBA, it's so good. The developers who ported it to the Switch are really good, and all the things they implemented were perfect. Not perfect, but really good at least. And the screen, the pixel perfect screen implementation they did. You could choose between 3 different modes, like pixel perfect and what's it called? Cover the whole image, and one mode in the middle as well. And it looked really good on the Switch, so play that. And I think the audio is a bit more enhanced rather than on the GBA, so better audio for the music and stuff like that. But Harmony of Dissonance, it wasn't as good as I remember it. I actually didn't like the music at all previously, but I've come to like it now. But the game itself, it feels a bit empty compared to Aria of Sorrow. And the DS games, I much prefer those. Anyways, I'm gonna keep on rambling on here about pretty much everything. Thank you, Magnus, and I hope you guys have a nice gaming week. And yeah, that's it from me. Bye guys! Oh, and wouldn't you know, the day after I did the Metroid Dread footage recordings, these 3 arrived, and it seems I ordered 2 extra by mistake, so I'll be selling 2 of them maybe, or at least one of them I'll be selling and maybe opening one. And scanning these in the game gives you 1 extra bonus energy tank if you scan with the Samus character, and if you scan with the Emmy, you get a bonus missile plus tank, and you refill your missiles once a day. So you refill your health with the Samus one. So yeah, that's it. Bye guys.